A few years ago, I was here in my basement, which at the time was just a glorified TV room, but I had convinced myself that I knew exactly what to do with 30 years worth of original songs. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am Tebo, and you are in the right place for finding out about my all-new Originals rock album that is in development right now here in the Project Studio. So I got a working title for this first rock and roll original on the new themed album. All right, so before I do the bass track, I loaded up the drum tracks here. And here's where it begins. Let's see if I got it. Hopefully it came close. Yeah. This is gonna rock, man. I have a pretty good idea of where I want to go with this. I want to try, I don't think I can handle piano. It's not in any of the major keys that I'm accustomed to. Lots of black notes. And I mean, as cool as it would be, I just don't think I can muster it. That's the worst thing for me, though, to say, I can't do it. Then it's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Feeling a little bit proud of myself right now. Piano has always been that missing instrument in my arsenal. Like, could have started earlier. This is opening the door for all kinds of other piano, organ, whatever, synths, pads to come in the future for other songs on the 24 Song Project. Oh my God, it's so fun. Back then, I felt like I had rediscovered my musical calling, and I was on a roll. I was becoming the songwriter and multi-instrumentalist that I had always thought I could be, even transforming this entire space into the home studio of my dreams. I was putting together an entire collection of tunes for one epic original double album that I was calling the 24 Song Project. Between the momentum of my Originals project and what came next, a couple of years went by where everything in my life was changing. I had left the 9-to-5 job, I went through a huge personal transformation, and the 24 Song Project kept slowly creeping along with me as I was starting to see the real potential in my music and in myself. By 2023, I was gigging full-time, playing 2 or 3 shows a week, meeting tons of musicians, finding my way in a completely new creative life. And the 24 songs were becoming way more than a project. Songs from my teenage years, songs carrying the scars of my adult life, new material written in retrospect, making light of all of that heavy stuff along the journey. These weren't just songs anymore. They were my legacy. Along the way, I happened upon a wonderful musical soul by the name of Ramco, a doctoral student who also happened to be one of the finest fiddle players in town. And so I asked her if she'd be interested in recording violin on one of my newest originals.
Oh shit, I was supposed to I'm sorry.
That's so good! That's so good! Better than I could have possibly imagined. Ram killed it. She killed it. She did so good. A really, really higher bar than I thought I was going to achieve in this resurgence of going back to the originals and making them a priority. That session changed everything. I'd been so focused on becoming a better musician, songwriter, sound engineer, all very rewarding stuff, but the recording with Ram made me realize that playing every instrument well enough and building the songs alone in my studio was not doing them justice. She showed me what my music could actually sound and feel like, and there was no going back. The potential of my songs became crystal clear, and every stage that I played on from that point forward became an opportunity to discover new talent. How they perform under pressure, their personalities, their professionalism, their willingness to take on challenging material. Month after month, the list of incredible musicians that I was sharing stages with just kept growing. And those who seemed to be the best possible fit would ultimately become official members of Tebo and the Visionaries. Leo Mayville on the drums, Dave Hayward on the bass, Ramco on fiddle and mandolin, Robbie Grunwald on lead guitar, Fred Ferland on lead guitar and pedal steel, and Matthew O'Halloran on keyboards. One by one, these incredible creative souls became the band that I could have only ever dreamed of. So I began hosting full band rehearsals here at the studio so we could begin working on those originals together. And for the first time, these songs that I'd been working on alone for years were being played by a full band, my dream band. These amazing musicians were lending their incredible talents to my songs, and things were about to change. Something was happening on stage that I had never felt before. Playing my originals live with this incredible full band was beyond magical. Each month I would select one gig where I'd invite the entire lineup, paying out of pocket to make up the difference, but man, it was so worth it to have all of them on stage at the same time at a live show. I needed to hear those songs with this amazing lineup in front of a real audience. It was so profoundly satisfying. The crowd was feeling it. I was realizing a lifelong dream, and we all began sharing in that moment together. Now, live shows and studio rehearsals are two completely different things. On stage, the energy flows between the band and the crowd, and the adrenaline blurs out all the details, and the overall experience wins everybody over. But in the rehearsal studio, there's nowhere to hide. It's just us, looking at one another with nothing but the bare music in front of us, and every note is up for close inspection. It was right here that things started to become uncomfortable. Not because of the songs being unworthy, certainly not because of a lack of talent in the room, and not even because of a lack of willingness to contribute. I was beginning to recognize my own shortcomings, that my own inability to know how to properly direct this incredible overdose of sheer talent. It all started to unravel because of me. And something else was happening that nobody else knew about. When I had to choose which originals to bring to the band, I started listening to the full list with honest ears for the first time. And that's when I realized how much work most of the songs still really needed. I had been calling this a project, even giving it a name, but I was beginning to realize what each song actually needed to become a song worthy of this band. I had rough demos, a ton of enthusiasm, but no proper arrangements. An ensemble of virtuosos trying their best to play together, unscripted, all at the same time. And the hardest realization of all, despite working on all of these songs for years, despite building my dream band, I was having an unexpected musical identity crisis. I thought I had a clear idea of what we were trying to sound like, but in rehearsal, the sound that emerged wasn't being shaped by a clear vision. It was being shaped by brute force. I had become the imposter, the elephant in the room, and the style of my own band was evolving by accident, not by intention. Leading a band of this caliber toward a unified sound required something that I didn't have yet. It requires knowing exactly what you want and communicating that vision so that 6 masters can execute flawlessly together. And with that, the visionaries were on hold. The cover gigs kept coming, many of my bandmates sharing the stage with me at the pubs with my 4-piece lineup, no questions asked, still making incredible music together, playing covers night after night. But those original songs, the whole reason that any of this even started in the first place, they were frozen on a hard drive down in the studio. I went back into each and every one of my original tracks, facing the uncomfortable truth once and for all. The 24-song project, this thing that I'd been building for years, given a name to, made it into an album concept with a release schedule and everything, had no practical reason to exist as one body of work. 24 songs, spanning my entire life, every style, every mood, every era, teenage laments, next to angry rock songs from my bachelor recovery days, and all of those right next to songs that I had written just a few months prior. The only thing holding these songs together was a number and a clock, a filing cabinet with an album name, kind of like a best of compilation, but with no albums to back it up. And I had already done this before, not with music, but with my YouTube channel. Years of videos about anything and everything. Music, recording, vlogging, video games. I did live streams and personal rants. Hundreds of videos with no clear direction and no unified identity. No reason for anyone who didn't already know me to even care. It was around that time that I discovered ChatGPT. Brand new to me, brand new to the world. I started using AI to sort through the confusion of my channel, my music, the path that I needed to follow. And what I learned is that it was really good at telling me exactly what I wanted to hear, which turned out to be the very last thing that I needed. It took me some time to understand the nature of what ChatGPT was at the time. I mean, I had nothing else in my life ever to compare it to, but I had started to rely on its insights. But I was also starting to see the underlying truth about its nature. And that's when I learned about Claude, whose strongest quality was the lack of sycophantic banter. So I made the switch, and the scathing honesty of an AI counterpart who actually pushes back was one of the most refreshing exchanges that I experienced in a very long time. Not because AI had the answers, we fight all the time, but I was finally in a conversation where uncomfortable truths were no longer being smoothed over, and the patterns that I was avoiding were becoming impossible to ignore. It's like finally seeing the image in a stereogram. Once you figure out how to see the pattern, you can't unsee it. I realized the 24-song project was destined to fail. Not because the songs were bad. I love every single one of those tunes, and they will all have a place in the world one day, but some of them just don't play well together. And sharing space on an album has nothing to do with whether each song has meaning for me. So the question became very simple and very difficult. If I'm gonna make one album, not a life-spanning compilation, one album that says something, that a complete stranger could experience and feel something coherent from start to finish, what does that album need to say? The answer didn't come from the music. It came from what was happening all around us. Things that would have been unimaginable a few years ago were becoming daily routine, with the whole world watching almost helplessly. And I was watching all of it from here, as a Canadian, looking outward. Standing on this side of the border, feeling something I didn't expect. Pride, uncertainty, hope, and this protective instinct that I didn't know that I had. What we have here matters more than it ever has before, and it's worth showing the world exactly how we feel about it. I knew this is what the album needed to say. When I thought about my songs through that lens, I realized some of them had already been talking about this. Songs that had always meant something to me that suddenly felt more relevant than ever. They belonged together. The album took on a new life of its own, and new perspectives started forming. The Western Plains, the East Coast, Canadian voices speaking together. This was turning into more than just an album concept. This would be the most important creative work of my life so far. Until the next one, of course. I knew exactly what the album needed to sound like. Roots rock, laced with blues, folk, rock and soul. The evolution of Americana. No, Canadiana. And the album would be called Border Songs. If only I had an incredible 7-piece band. So I knew exactly what the album needed in order to be complete. Some of the songs that I already had clearly belonged. Others would still need to be written, but even those were starting to take shape in my head. Melodies were taking hold, lyrics were popping into my mind. But if I'd learned one thing after all the trials of the past few years, it was that I was not an arranger. I can write decent music and lyrics all day, every day. But making space for a host of incredibly talented musicians in each parts of those songs, it's something that I never really tried before, but I felt like I might have someone perfect for the job. Buddy! Tebowie! I caught you mid-performance. That's beautiful. I love that song, man. That's awesome.
Misty.
Buddy, what an honor to talk to you. I just saw you yesterday, actually. It's so funny. You came over because we have a gig tomorrow, and we're playing together all of these gigs that we're sharing the stage together. And after 30 years of knowing each other, man, what an honor to be able to be back on stage with you and your incredible energy and your just wonderful musicianship. You sent me a message around, I don't know, a year ago saying, Tebo, if you ever have some gigs, I'm interested. And I thought piano, and you said no on the bass.
Yeah, so we started together actually to play when I started to play with you like 30 years ago or so, maybe 25 years, I don't know. We're not that old. But I studied jazz piano. I want challenge. I like challenge. So in the last couple of years, I've started the bass. So I'm playing bass for maybe like 6 or 7 years now. At some point, I was thinking to myself, "Oh no, I might be able to do a gig or two." So I started to call back musicians I used to play with back in the day, like you. And I never thought you'd call me back.
Are you kidding me, dude? What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. The moment you sent me the message, the first thing I did, I was like, holy shit, I got to find this guy a gig. When Phil calls, man, you answer the call. I was just blown away, and you're such an incredible talent. I mean, just anything that you pick to choose to put your energy into, you're a master, and I have so much respect for you as a friend and as a musician. I'm so thankful for the fact that you messaged me, because it gave us an excuse to be on the stage together and to start thinking and talking about music. You didn't think I was going to answer your call. I didn't know how you were going to answer my request to arrange the songs. The most perfect guy, it was you. It was automatic. I just knew right away it had to be you. So how do you feel about arranging these songs, man? Is there any magic that you can weave with the Tebo originals? Tell me your honest truth. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell the truth, man.
It's so exciting, man. It's really, really so exciting. So we played some of your compositions live. And man, I like really like. I like the hook. It's really, really. Honestly, I'm super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun to work with you and with all the musicians, because like you're playing with such great musicians. It's really impressive, actually. A lot of fun, and hopefully I'll be able to help you out to get the most out of these songs.
I know you will, Phil. I have so much respect for you, and I can't wait for that moment where we start to really put the tracks together. And because you've played with those guys, you've played with Leo, you've played with a whole bunch of the different mixture of the guys in various formations, but you know who they are. You've rehearsed here at the studio together with them. You know Ram, you know everybody, and it's wonderful to be able to offer that to you as sort of like a toolkit and say, well, you know who you're asking to do these parts. So the sky's the limit, and we can have so much fun. The thing I was concerned about at first was the style direction. What do you feel about the kind of bands that I'm trying to emulate in the style, sheet that I gave you with all the different bands that we're trying to think about? Because I'll be honest, I'm very old school. I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to Spotify. And so I'm kind of counting on your breadth of knowledge to sort of say, well, okay, that's nice, Tebo. Yeah, that's good. You want to sound like the Eagles, but maybe we should think of something else.
I think the band you are suggesting, like the reference you gave me, when I hear those bands, I hear art and honesty. I hear guys that have something to say.
Bringing our life experience to something that is as, I think, important as this album concept, talking about being Canadians, looking at the rest of the world crumbling and falling apart, and to have something important and meaningful to say about it. Phil, I can't think of a better guy on the planet to put these songs together than you. And I'm so honored and thankful to be able to start that process with you.
And you know what? These songs, man, what I've read, wow, I couldn't believe it. Seriously, these songs, I need to listen to them right now. No, but it's freaky. It's super frightening what's happening right now. And I think the album is going to be great to balance things and to give a different perspective. This is like important, seriously. Your concept is truly unique, and I think it's going to be something that's that people will probably like remember for a while. It's c'est quand j'ai vu ça, le concept, tantôt je l'ai lu dans le train. J'étais comme, oh shit, man! What I saw in the train. Wow, everybody needs that right now. I mean, it's really something that's important, and not only for Canadians, but for everybody in the world, you know.
Right.
And is it a bit patriotic, or not? I don't know. Like, what do you think about that? Like, is it? Where's the line?
Yeah.
You know, or maybe not, or maybe that's not what he wants. Not sure.
I'm glad that you brought that up. You know, when I was doing a lot of research into the bands in the style guide, and one of them has always been Tragically Hip. And one of the things that I found was most sort of inspiring about them was that they never waved the Canadian flag. They weren't going like, only Canada, you know, we're the best. They were not trying to be super proud Canadians in your face, preaching about Canada. And I love that, because that's very much our style, I think, as a country, to be able to sort of be amazing without saying how amazing we are, you know? But it's changed now. It's different. It's not the same. We're a little more angry. We're a little more worried about defending our borders. And it hurts a little bit to think that we're changing because of all of the shit that's happening, not because we decided to. I think it's important to talk about it, and in a musical way, and in through songs, and through the production quality that you're going to bring, the arrangements, your mastery of knowledge of instruments, to be able to say this would be the perfect time for Ram to do a violin mote, and then let's make Robbie go crazy on the guitar. Or, I know that you know what to do. I'm just fucking stoked. I'm honored that you are excited about it, man. I really am.
C'est my pleasure. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Bon, OK, je te laisse, man.
Salut, man.
À demain.
Salut.
Merci beaucoup, Philippe.
Salut, man. C'est un plaisir.
Ciao, brother. The last time the Visionaries were in this room, I shared my songs, my passion, my well-intentioned chaos, but I was lacking the tools to give them what they needed to do their best work. Next time's going to be different. It'll take some time to finish the new songs and arrange all of the tracks with Phil, but for the first time in my life, I'm working with some of the most talented professionals I could have ever possibly imagined. This band, they are all truly just incredible. And with my own sense of urgency and discipline behind it all, and the hard-earned honesty to know the difference between ambition and direction, the next stage of this adventure is unmistakably and dangerously ready to unfold, quickly but steadily. Border Songs will be built right here, and I invite you to join us for the journey.